Welcome to yoga. You won't need anything for today's video, but here are some optional props that I recommend. So pause the video here to grab your things. Otherwise, if you're ready, let's begin. Meet me in extended child's pose, with your knees wide towards the edges of your mat and your big toes towards each other behind you so your shins are like a V. Walk your hands forward as you lower your chest and your forehead down to the mat, arms extend out long in front of you. And this is a little intense to start, so you're always welcome to modify by stacking your fists underneath your forehead. Wherever you are, breathe. Long inhale through your nose. Full exhale through your nose. And continue breathing smooth and deep, knowing that you can always use child's pose as a way to rest and reconnect with your breath at any time in your practice. From here, rise up into a tabletop on your hands and knees, with your knees underneath your hips and your hands underneath your shoulders. If your knees are sore or achy, then I do recommend using a folded hand towel underneath your knees, and you can keep that there throughout the entire rest of your practice. If your wrists are sore or achy in this pose, you can always use spider hands propping up on your fingertips. From this tabletop position, lower your belly down towards your mat and lift your chin up for what is called a cow pose. So your belly is like the udders of the cow and you're creating a big U in your spine, or at least it feels that way. Now come back to your tabletop neutral spine, meaning your belly is pulling in and your neck is in line with your spine. For a cat back, round your spine, tuck your chin, and tuck your tailbone like a scaredy cat. And pull your lower belly in as you do so. Then let's match our breath with our movement. Come back to your tabletop. And then inhale to cow pose, belly drops, chin lifts. Exhale to your cat back, round your spine, tuck your chin, tuck your tailbone. As you inhale, find cow pose, belly drops, chin lifts, shoulders open. And as you exhale, round your spine into your cat back. And keep that going a couple more times, following the pace of your breath. Moving one breath, one movement creates a flow. So it's less about hitting the perfect pose or holding the pose, and more about flowing between the poses, making the transitions just as important as the poses themselves. After your next cat back, meet me back in a neutral position in your tabletop. And to set up for downward facing dog, walk your hands forward one hand's distance, curl your toes under behind you, and with bent knees, lift your hips up and back into your downward facing dog. And feel free to add as much movement as you'd like in this first down dog, bending one knee and then the other. Down dog can be a lot easier to a beginner body if you take your feet wider towards the edges of your mat. The idea here is not to push your heels down towards the mat. It's more about creating a long spine. So give a generous bend in your knees, tilt your tailbone up to the ceiling, and press your chest towards your knees. Feel your shoulders open. And then walk your feet to the top half of your mat for a forward fold, with your feet still hip distance or a little wider. A generous bend in your knees so you can fold down towards the mat. And if you need a little more upper body support, then I do recommend grabbing 2 blocks underneath your hands to help support the weight of your upper body. But wherever you are, do your best to hinge from your hips, let your head hang heavy, and feel your breath travel up and down your spine. Now slowly unroll up to standing with a generous bend in your knees and your chin tucked until you come all the way up. And then when you are standing tall, shrug your shoulders up to your ears and down your back. Inhale and your shoulders shrug up. Exhale, roll them down. Just one more time. Inhale, up. Exhale, down. Meet me in Samastitihi, standing tall with your hands together at heart center, and close your eyes. Take a big breath in through your nose and out through your nose. Again, inhale, exhale. One more time, inhale. This breath is calming and grounding. Exhale. You're exactly where you need to be. Continue to breathe in and out through your nose with this deep, controlled breath. And blink your eyes open. Reach your arms up for mountain pose. Make sure your shoulders are not shrugging up towards your ears. Relax your shoulders down. Just plugging your fingers into the ceiling. Take a big breath in. Then exhale, forward fold. Hinge at your hips as you fold all the way down with a soft bend in your knees so you can fold deeper. Next is a halfway lift. Take your hands to your thighs and press your heart forward, finding a flat back. Your shoulder blades are pinching together behind you. Back of your neck is in line as if there was a plank from your hips to your shoulders to the back of your head. That is your halfway lift. And now forward fold. Soft bend in your knees, fold down towards your mat. And let's add breath with movement. So right here, exhale everything from your lungs. Then as you inhale, find mountain pose. Stand up and reach your arms up. As you exhale, forward fold, come all the way back down. Next is halfway lift. As you breathe in, lift up halfway, finding your flat back. Then forward fold as you breathe out. And let's keep that going for this half sun A. Inhale, mountain pose, stand up, arms up. Exhale, forward fold, come all the way down, soft bend in your knees. As you inhale, find halfway lift, flat back. Exhale, forward fold. Let's do that just one more time, fewer cues. Inhale, mountain. Exhale, fold. Inhale, half lift. Exhale, fold and hold. And breathe. And take a seat on your mat. Take a sip of water. That was a half sun salutation A sequence. And in Vinyasa Yoga, when you practice a sequence that repeats itself many times, it's usually called a sun salutation. The sun salutation A series is very typical in most practices with some variations. So look at the screen and watch what a typical sun salutation A looks like. It starts with the mountain pose that you're familiar with, the forward fold that you just did, halfway lift, and then from the halfway lift, plant the hands, step the feet back, chaturanga, high to low plank, to upward facing dog, and then to downward facing dog. And that sequence gets repeated a couple of times to help warm up the body. But here's the thing. I don't think that the Sun A is very beginner friendly. So today we will do a modified version of it. Before we do it, watch the screen and let me show you what that looks like. We have our mountain pose, forward fold, halfway lift, and we'll do a modified chaturanga, high to low plank, all the way down to our bellies for low cobra, and send it back to downward facing dog. Now, don't worry if that looked confusing or overwhelming. We will practice it together. So to practice the second half of that Sun A, meet me in a forward fold at the top of your mat. And the first thing we'll practice is going from a forward fold to a tabletop quickly. So plant your hands and step your feet back into your tabletop. Now for a modified high plank, shift your hips forward so there's a straight line from your knees, through your hips, your shoulders, and your head. From this modified high plank, bend your elbows directly back as you slowly lower down towards your mat so your elbows will graze your ribs until you come all the way down to your belly. So we're essentially going through our modified low plank to go down to our belly. So for low cobra, zip your legs and feet together, press the tops of your feet down, and keep your legs engaged this way. With your elbows pointing up to the ceiling or almost pinching together behind you, peel your chest up off your mat using the strength of your back. And you can assist with your hands, but ideally you work towards letting your hands just hover on the mat. Try not to crane your neck, just look a couple inches out in front of you so your neck is in line with your spine. And then from here, lower down and press up and back into downward facing dog. So another big but quick transition. Now let's practice that, adding some breath with movement. Come forward to your modified high plank with your knees down. Inhale. Exhale as you lower down to the mat. Elbows graze your ribs because they're going directly back. For a low cobra, zip your legs, peel your chest up. And downward facing dog as you breathe out. Lower down, press up and back. Take a big breath in through your nose. Out through your nose. Let's do that one more time. Inhale as you come forward into your modified high plank, knees down. Exhale as you lower all the way down to your belly. Elbows graze your ribs. For a low cobra, as you inhale, peel your chest up. Then exhale to release, press up and back into downward facing dog. Well done. Take a seat and a sip of water, and then we can piece together the first half and the second half to create a full Sun A sequence. We'll work on just the movement first, so when you're ready, meet me in downward facing dog. Look up to your hands, bend your knees, and step your feet to the top half of your mat for a forward fold. Anywhere in the top half is the top of your mat. Next is halfway lift. Take your hands to your thighs and press your heart forward to lengthen your spine. Find your flat back. And then forward fold again, hanging down towards your mat. Find your mountain pose, stand up, reach your arms up, shoulders are soft. And then next is forward fold. Hinge at your hips, come all the way down. For one more halfway lift to lengthen your spine, hands to your thighs, find your flat back. Then quickly plant your hands and step your knees back to your modified high plank and lower all the way down to your belly. All of that is happening in one breath when we flow. For a low cobra, zip your legs, peel your chest up, and then down dog. Lower down, then press up and back. Are you ready to go one breath, one movement? And if you're not, that's okay. You can go 2 breaths, 1 movement, or just follow the pace of your own breath. On your next inhale, look up to your hands, bend your knees. As you exhale, step your feet to the top of your mat for your forward fold. Inhale to your halfway lift, hands to your thighs, press your heart forward. Exhale, forward fold, hang heavy. As you inhale, find mountain pose, stand up, arms up. As you exhale, forward fold, come all the way down. For one more halfway lift, breathe in. As you breathe out, plant your hands, step your knees back, high plank, and lower all the way down to your belly, nice and quick. Inhale to low cobra, peel your chest up. Exhale to down dog, send it back. For a big breath in through your nose, out through your nose. Let's do that just one more time. Inhale as you look up, bend your knees. Exhale, step your feet to the top of your mat, forward fold. Inhale to halfway lift, find your flat back. Exhale, forward fold. Mountain pose as you breathe in. Forward fold as you breathe out. For one more halfway lift as you inhale, lengthen. Then exhale, plant your hands, step your knees back, lower all the way down to your belly. Low cobra as you inhale, peel your chest up. Down dog as you exhale. Well done. That is your Sun Salutation A sequence. You did it. and you can use that modified version of the Sun Salutation A in any other video that has Sun A. Continue breathing smooth and deep. Meet me in extended child's pose. Walk your hands forward as you lower your chest and your forehead down to the mat. Arms extend out long in front of you. One big breath in and out. Allow your breath to become effortless and soft, and feel your body follow, becoming effortless and soft. Then slowly rise. Find any comfortable seated position that serves you so you can sit up tall with your eyes closed and bring your hands together at heart center. There is a place inside of you where the entire universe dwells. This place is of love, light, truth, and peace. When you are in this place in you, and I am in this place in me, we are one. Namaste.